What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Knights here, and welcome back to Mordhau. Today we have this highly anticipated patch that has been released, and I'm going to quickly recite the main changes, which are gameplay, combat, UI, balance changes, weapons and equipment, that sort of stuff, some small map changes to Crossroads. Other than that, we have only seen the beta version of ranked duels, but they have mentioned there will be ranked 3s soon. They're just going to be bug testing and meta testing a bit more on the beta mode. New cosmetics, so there is a new armor set that does look pretty sexy, but I would hope to see quite a few more in the future. The UI is really nice, might I mention. New game mode called Invasion. This is basically siege mode. It's just their own take on it. It's basically going to be a much more objective-based frontline, so that'll be fun. They're testing it out on camp, it looks like, but they're going to have it on every single map that has the frontline game mode. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Again, that's a casual edition, but hopefully we will see that and have some fun with it. Along with the 2 new maps should be here within the next month or so. So I was sort of expecting the new 2 maps to come. It's a bit small of a patch in the way of content, but in the way of meta changes, it's like absolutely massive. And I think this all looks really good. Like, I've played the ranked duel mode for a little while now. I'm really happy with it. I think a lot of the changes are actually really good. They promote higher skills. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is going to be quite a long video, so if you want to just read the link yourself, I'll link the patch notes in the description. But let's go ahead and check out the gameplay. So, added ranked duel mode. This is a beta version. Crossroads now has a second cap point, and it's we're gonna have to see how it fits into the game. You guys can check it out right now. I set up a bot battle, and it looked like it was a pretty even fight, so I think this is sort of a signifier that it is a little bit more balanced, although I don't believe the bots were using horses, and I still believe the horses to favor red, so I still think blue is probably the worst side, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. New armor sets. Team damage on frontline is disabled for the early stages of spawning. Friendly toolbox does less damage to teammates, and looks like they've done some preventative stuff when regarding kicking teammates into spikes. Now, if you kill 7 teammates in a game, you get auto-kicked unless it's from a catapult or like other unintentional things, maybe like archers, I'm not entirely sure. And you will be banned for 30 minutes if you do this. It's a bit harsh, but I think it's all right. Added team damage percentage on vote kicks, so when somebody vote kicks you on the UI, it will show your team damage percent. Vote kick banned to 10 minutes now, 40% vote kick instead of 50%, so it's going to be easier to get kicked if you're being a douche. Horses got nerfed in a bunch of different ways. Hitboxes changed, riders take more damage. The radius in which they knock you is slowed down. If you get hit, you get slowed down. If you get hit, you can't accelerate as fast. Lots of different things like that. I'm going to just kind of skip over that, but horses are receiving a big nerf. On the contrary, they are now able to capture points, which is wonderful. They've made the Crossroads cap zones a bit larger, so I think that secondary cap point is going to have a lot more horse involvement over there. Fire pots activate faster but do less damage now. Are going to be more visible. Toolboxes, I believe this means that they're just going to be a little slower to build foundation builds instead of a partial wall, so you're not going to be able to block horses and stuff with it and troll people. Battle Royale has a reduced start amount, which will hopefully make more people play BR. Remove walk debuff on explosive keg. This is basically when you explode the towers in objective-based game modes, now you can walk full speed. I don't believe you're going to be able to sprint, but now you're not going to be ultra slowed, and now it's going to take 2 explosives to get the objective done. I think this is wonderful. I think it's going to make more people feel safe and feel like they want to get it done. A lot less risky. Damageable world collision will no longer ignore the weapon tip, so meaning the tip of your weapon will now get stopped up on walls a bit more if you're doing, you know, some horizontals or overheads backed up into a corner. So you got to watch out for that. Make sure you're doing the proper swing for when you're backed against a wall. I believe this might just be for destroyable items as well, but I'm not entirely sure. Combat, so this is big. Fixed crouch hitbox for iframe bug, which is when you could crouch and the blade would just go like through the top of your scalp and not do any damage. Next we have Stab releases are reduced 25 milliseconds, making the attack slightly faster and a little less floaty looking. Parry window reduced 25 seconds, so it's a smaller parry window. In general, I think the parry window reduction is really good, and same with chamber strike reduction by 50 milliseconds. This is wonderful as well. It's just upping the skill gap. Stab early release is increased. This will make stabs slightly slower, but have earlier release animations, making them easier to read. Stabs have 25 millisecond smaller feint windows than strikes, so I guess you have to feint quicker now with stabs. You got to be a little bit more decisive with them. Combo feint window increased 100 milliseconds. Now, to me, this is like literally the biggest thing they changed. One of the biggest things they've changed. So now, like, it's basically a buff to any weapon that combos. And like the War Axe, I thought they were gonna nerf it, but this is like a massive buff to like War Axe, meaning when you're in the windup of a combo swing, you now have a massive window that you can feint that. So you can literally stuff it right in their face after comboing and then just feint out of it. Again, I don't think this is bad. I've been really enjoying it. People have been falling for it, especially since they haven't read the patch notes and they don't know this is a thing yet. But now you can really, you don't have to feint out of a combo at the very beginning of the window, because that was the only time, was to do a short feint, but now you can do long feints out of combos. Hit stop recovery is now 50 milliseconds faster. This is another big one. So basically for Evening Star, alternate poleaxe, Warhammer, those types of weapons now, when you hit somebody, you still can't combo through it unless you kill them with that hit, but now your follow-up swing is a lot faster. It's 50 milliseconds faster. So that's a direct buff to all of those direct blunt impact weapons, Maul included. The dynamic feint lockout distribution will make short feints, what they call early feints, a little less reliable and a little more punishable, whereas the longer feints, you'll be able to not have them double parry successfully. So yeah, it seems like this is a direct buff to long feints, which have sort of been needed, since you can make somebody bait out of parry and then they just get a second parry, double parry. So that's been bad. So it looks like that's going to be fixed to some extent. Morph kick is now 25 milliseconds faster. Kick feint now costs 5. That's great. I think it cost 15 before. Morph to kick is now 25 milliseconds faster. Okay, so that's good. We're going into a kick meta. This is a good, all good anti-shield mechanics. Kick range versus held block shield slightly increased. Very nice. You can kick people off ladders now easier, and they'll ragdoll off of it. Missed kicks will, I didn't say miss, but I assume that's what it is. Missed kicks will now drain 15 instead of 20. When you land a kick, I believe it returns 15 instead of 10. Missed kick recovery increase 50 milliseconds. So if you miss a kick, it's very, very minor, but you will be able to parry a little faster if you miss a kick. I think this is good because kicks don't do a lot of damage and they're kind of risky, and they do take quite a bit of skill to land a solid kick. Parry turn cap is now significantly less strict. So I think this means that you're able to turn during the parry phase a bit faster. So I think that's good. Hand hitboxes are now disabled during the parry window. This will prevent from just like random red parries. They didn't call it red parry, but I think that's what it is. Upper attacks, overheads now 5 degrees more diagonal, making them easier to hit. So this is nice. You're not going to get dodged as easily now with the overheads. This is awesome. Fixed active parry draining stamina now gives stamina. So when there was easy parry, when you block multiple parries or multiple strikes with one parry, there was a bug that basically made it so you lost stamina, but what the mechanic is intended to do is to return a bunch of stamina all at once. I believe it's 20 or so from successfully blocking 2, so that's very nice. Fury now gives full stamina, that's good. Fury needed a buff. Flesh Wound now costs 3. I think the only reason why they did this is because now it's like nutty good for the ranked duel mode. So Flesh Wound now costs 3 points, and I think this is important because of the ranked duel mode. It is extremely strong. You can get a lot of kills on people and you win the round even if you die afterwards if you kill them first. And I think it kind of negates Flesh Wound to being used with weapons other than the Battle Axe or War Axe. It's not like a all-around like perk now that you should be using with like executioners and stuff. I mean, it's still viable, but I would say it's more viable now for like War Axe. Chase mechanic buffed, faster activation, 180 turn cap. So basically you can't flip around and sprint as fast. So if you're like getting chased, you can't just like turn around and run away as quickly. So now we're getting into weapons and equipment. Buckler stam negation increased by 1. Targe stamina negation increased by 1. So I believe they're actually getting some form of buff here. Time block shields no longer give stamina on disarm. So that's why. So basically Buckler and Targe, I don't think Targe did that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was just the Buckler. But basically when you get disarmed by Buckler now, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't return stam. I think you get your sword disarmed immediately instead of just the shield, which is awesome. So Buckler got a very, very minor buff and then a pretty large nerf debuffing. Kite and heater shields now have slightly stricter blocking turn caps, so you basically are pretty locked into place. Elder block shields now have movement slowdown on 333 armor builds. This is very like niche, but I guess it nerfs people that are running full armor, full shield. So that's good. No, not to do that. Longsword main mode strike release increased. Longsword strike turn cap slightly more strict. Main mode raw damage increased slightly. This will greatly improve HTK against armored legs. And main mode strike combo speed 25 milliseconds faster. So basically Longsword got a series of buffs with some very, very mild, but in general Longsword got a much needed buff. Messer stamina drain increased by 1. It's not negation, so I believe Messer got a nerf in the stamina department. Warak's combo speed slowed down by 25 milliseconds. Okay, very nice. Again, that's very small. Warak's strike turn cap slightly more strict, so you're going to get glancing blow more. Warak's stamina drain reduced 20 from 21. This is minor. It's likely not going to determine a lot of fights, but I mean, it is a nerf. So Warak's did get a nerf, guys. Executioner's sword damage against armored legs buffed very slightly. E-stock turn cap slightly more strict. So a lot of turn caps are more strict. It prevents people from like helicoptering or catching you like at the very end of it drag, because of the glancing blow is going to be a lot more risky. Greatsword main headshot damage with plate armor reduced to 48 from 50. Greatsword alt mode strike release reduced 25 milliseconds. Okay. These are pretty much like their nerfs, but they don't really do anything. Yeah, the main strike mode though, that is sort of a nerf. I don't know if that affects the like TTK, but I wouldn't think so. You'd have to test that. Twi-hander turn cap slightly strict. Main mode strike combos faster. Dang. So Twi-hander got a buff. I guess that's sort of viable, at least in like the dueler competitive side of things. Like Frontlines, it's like one of the best weapons in the game for sure. But for comp, it's like a little kind of out of the meta. Bastard Sword turn cap, slightly more strict. I'm sorry, I skipped over short spear. Stab turn cap reduced, stab release reduced. This is good. So short spear nerf. Halberd alt mode turn cap slightly less strict. So some of these actually say less strict and more strict. So Halberd's actually going to be able to get a wider drag off. Spear alt mode turn cap more strict, so no more spear comboing, doing hella damage. Javelin nerf, the PV shield can no longer flourish. That feels bad. Toolbox now starts with 6 ammo. I don't know what I think it might have been 8, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, poleaxe has been buffed here. It looks like it's got some stricter turn caps, but I know the blunt impact is really going to benefit the poleaxe, and the alt mode now has the same range as the main mode. This is nuts. Poleaxe is getting a monster buff and have more damage against armored legs. What are they thinking with this one? Okay. Poleaxe is already like top 3, top 5 dueler weapons for sure. So this is kind of nuts. They just buffed it like 5 times with like the tiniest little nerf compensation. Heavy hand axe now has stricter current turn cap. Bardiche turn cap strict. Bardiche main mode strike combos 25 milliseconds faster. So the main mode got a buff. I think that was good. Evening Star combo 25 milliseconds faster. What are they doing? So they buffed Evening Star in 2 different ways, you guys. So I'm going to tell you right now, the new meta is not new meta, but the official meta right now, unless they change it, is poleaxe, Evening Star. Warax is going to actually greatly benefit from this feint, combo feint. Like, it really is, because it still has one of the fastest combos. I'd say Warax is about as good as it was, if not better. Zweihander's going to be strong. Bastard Sword, but I think by nerfing the Buckler, I think that handles part of the problem. Maps and game modes. Lowered pillar on Contraband, so people can't hide up there. Fixed out of bounds, fixed reporting map exploits on Taiga, so less bugs and stuff. Missing gold bugs, emblems, bunch of UI changes here, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of skip over this. This looks like it's more UI type stuff. Audio and UI, yeah, so I'm gonna leave this at that. So let me know what you guys think of the patch notes. We did not get quite the full patch we were expecting, but I think we got, like, honestly, we got more in the way of actual meta changes than I was expecting, and that's the important thing. So, like, they're really setting up a foundation to go ahead and, like, release this content and do it right. So I think this is good, guys. Be patient. Patchy has sort of come out, and the further part 2 and part 3 of Patchy will be out in the next, like, month or two. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. And I really appreciate all you sticking around. So I'll catch you soon.